Deep beneath the scorching sands of ancient Memphis, hidden in a massive, pitch-black maze of underground tunnels, lies one of the most enigmatic archaeological sites we've ever discovered. For over a century, historians were absolutely convinced this vast subterranean complex was just your standard, straightforward burial place. But when archaeologists finally pushed their way into the deepest, darkest chambers, well, what they found completely shattered those expectations. And it's a mystery that continues to spark some seriously intense debates today. Okay, let's dive into this. 100. That number right there represents the staggering tonnage of just a single granite box found hidden deep down within this maze. I mean, think about that for a second. We are talking about solid containers weighing up to 100 tons. To put that into perspective, that's roughly the weight of a modern commercial airplane, or about 20 fully grown elephants. And the craziest part? These massive objects weren't just sitting out in the open desert. They had somehow been dragged and maneuvered deep beneath the Earth's surface. And get this, it wasn't just an isolated anomaly. There are actually 24 of these gigantic stone boxes sitting quietly in this crazy labyrinth of dark, incredibly narrow dirt tunnels that stretch on for hundreds of meters. The visceral contrast here is absolutely staggering. Just picture the sheer claustrophobia of walking through cramped, unlit, underground passageways, and then try to visualize dragging solid stone containers the size of small houses through them. The logistics of moving 24 of these behemoths underground is simply mind-boggling. So this brings us directly to the core question we are decoding in today's explainer. Could ancient Egyptians really build this? Because when you look at the sheer mass of these objects and the incredibly restrictive environment of the Serapeum, it literally forces us to ask how this was physically achieved. Were these colossal containers truly just sarcophagi? To unravel this whole puzzle, we kind of need to go back to the beginning. Right, so to understand the mystery, we must ground ourselves in the history of how this place was found and used. Back in 1851, a French Egyptologist named Auguste Mariette made this phenomenal breakthrough. By carefully tracing an avenue of half-buried sphinxes across the desert surface, he rediscovered this entirely lost complex. His excavations revealed an underground network that, incredibly, had been actively used for a staggering 1,400 years. This massive stretch of time corresponded perfectly with the reign of what historians officially refer to as the Apis cult. Now, according to the official Egyptology consensus, this entire underground site was an elaborate burial ground for these highly honored animals. You see, the Apis bull was one of the absolute most important religious symbols in all of ancient Egypt. They were deeply believed to be the actual living manifestation of the creator god Ptah. So when an Apis bull died, it wasn't just cast aside. It received an incredibly elaborate, highly ritualized funeral ceremony and was buried with the utmost honor and reverence. And this brilliantly illustrates why mainstream archaeologists don't just guess at this stuff. Their conclusions are backed by a wealth of solid physical evidence found right at the site. Throughout the Serapeum, researchers uncovered historical records, hundreds of dedicated stelae, and intricate stone inscriptions that firmly tie the location to the Apis cult. Add to that the fact that they found the remains of at least 60 sacred bulls interred over that 1,400-year period. And yeah, for most mainstream archaeologists, this robust catalog of evidence completely closes the book. But when you talk to engineers and alternate researchers, looking at the actual boxes themselves shifts the tone completely from historical reverence to absolute awe. Because what makes the Serapeum famous isn't the tunnels, it's the boxes. These containers weren't pieced together from smaller, manageable stones, no way. Each one was carved from a single massive block of incredibly hard, solid granite, along with a few carved from basalt and limestone. Look, granite is one of the hardest stones on Earth. The engineering challenge of hollowing out and shaping a single piece of this unyielding material over 2,000 years ago is honestly intensely difficult to comprehend. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer level of precision involved. We are looking at main bases weighing 70 to 100 tons, topped with these massive lids that alone weigh over 20 tons. But the true magic is on the inside. Modern visitors who actually step inside these boxes are usually left completely speechless. The interior surfaces appear remarkably flat, the walls are almost perfectly square, and the corners are literally razor sharp. Even today, shaping solid granite with this level of flawless geometric precision requires highly advanced mechanized cutting equipment. Which leads us to a massive looming question.
But if these were truly built for sacred bowls, why were so many of them found completely empty? This right here is the pivot point where the greatest controversy of the site really begins. When the boxes were finally opened and examined by modern explorers, the distinct lack of intact, mummified bowls inside some of these giant granite sarcophagi fueled decades of intense speculation. I mean, think about it. If you dedicate that much monumental effort to build a 100-ton, highly precise vault for a divine animal, where's the animal?
This missing evidence has really split opinions into two main camps. On one side, the mainstream view logically points out that the Serapeum, much like a lot of Egyptian sites, suffered extensive looting over many centuries. Evidence strongly suggests ancient robbers broke into the galleries long before any modern excavation, completely clearing out the valuables and disturbing the burials. On the other side, though, alternative researchers point to the empty boxes and the crazy precision of the stonework. They propose that these massive containers might have served another entirely unknown purpose originally, or perhaps they were built way earlier and simply reused by the Egyptians during later periods.
Of course, skeptics often claim the sheer precision and size completely exceed ancient capabilities. However, mainstream Egyptologists are quick to remind us about the brilliant builders of the pyramids, obelisks, and temples who regularly demonstrated extraordinary engineering skill. They propose that these massive sarcophagi were transported deep underground using highly organized, specific methods. We're talking immense wooden sledges and rollers to drag the stone, complex systems of levers and ramps to navigate the sloping depths, and burial chambers that were meticulously pre-prepared long before the giant boxes were ever lowered into their final resting place.
So the crucial point is this. Regardless of which side of the debate you lean toward, the Serapeum forces us to confront a really important truth. Our ancient ancestors were far, far more capable than we often give them credit for. Long before the invention of steel cranes, computer modeling, or modern machinery, these builders created monuments that still inspire deep wonder today. The incredible craftsmanship required to cut, move, and position these monoliths stands as a silent, humbling testimony to phenomenal human achievement. As we wrap up our journey into this labyrinth of stone and darkness, we are left staring at a profound puzzle that has guarded its secrets for over 2 millennia. So what do you think? Are these mere tombs built to honor sacred animals through sheer willpower and devotion? Or are they evidence of forgotten capabilities and lost engineering technologies that we still struggle to fully understand? The Serapeum of Saqqara continues to challenge everything we assume about the ancient world. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and we'll see you in the next Explain.